Oak trees, because that's one of the things I love about the earth. I love the earth because the earth has oak trees, the only oak trees in the solar system, the only oak trees in the solar system. That's why I love the earth. Now, if you've got some reason that you love the earth, just shout it out. I love the earth because the earth has daffodils, the only daffodils in the solar system, the only daffodils in the solar system. That's why I love the earth. Now here's the thing, there isn't one person in this room that doesn't now know this song, okay? So you guys all have to sing it. So, anybody else have one that they love the earth for? Ocean, okay, the ocean, everybody together. I love the earth because the earth has the ocean, the only ocean in the solar system, the only ocean in the solar system. That's why I love the earth. Okay, folks. I love the earth because the earth has soil, the only soil.
Non-corporate media. Yes, community-sponsored media. So check it out during break. Now, and this is really good for us. Thank goodness we have KKRN.
We love community radio. Love it.
That's right, and you were on community radio. I had a show when I had a voice, and it was called Dig This Environmental Watch. And Sarah would come on and sing, and Sarah would come on and speak about the environment. It was really wonderful. You had a good time.
Yes, and I miss doing that. It was always really, really fun. And those shows are archived on KKRN.
Yes.
If you ever want to go back and hear them, they're pretty entertaining.
And is Carrie Lustig in the room? Because in the back room, Fulfilling Fields Organic Farm has a table. And I'm not saying that that's the only farm we have in Shasta County, but I know Carrie, she's an example of part of the solution to environmental degradation. You know, no pesticides, clean food, organic food. She works with autistic adults coming out to the farm. She has a wonderful program. So if you want to learn more, see Carrie. Okay, my voice isn't what I want it to be, but I believe environmental degradation, what we're doing to the environment, what we do to the drinking water, what we do to the air we breathe, the fracking wells. We're poisoning the earth. And when we poison the earth, we poison ourselves. And I can say that I think my situation, at least partially, is caused by environmental pollution, as well as whatever else. I used to be a chain smoker. I thought that's how you wrote poetry. Not a good idea. It worked for a while. And by the way, the cancer rates in the United States are soaring. 1 out of 2 women and 1 out of 3 men, or vice versa, will get cancer in their lifetime. The war on cancer is like all the other wars I think we're engaged in right now. It's failing because we're poisoning ourselves. So part of tonight is, what can we do to make the environment cleaner, more beautiful, better for us all, for our children, for the future? So I'm just saying, we should all be thinking about, I should get closer to this mic, we should all be thinking about, Peter told me that, you know, what we use, how we use it, talk to our neighbors, and that would be a very good thing. Do you agree?
I agree, and the food thing is huge, and the good, clean, organic food is really important.
Yes.
So make sure you
And
get
that's
to know
another
our
reason
farmers.
to have Carrie Lustig here with Organic Fields, Fulfilling Fields Organic Farm. And I do want to say we have different approaches to our topic tonight. And, you know, from people speaking to a little comedy, to poetry, to music. And I want to mention, for example, there's a young woman here, Selena, who's a college student and writer. She's wonderful. And her poetry has to deal with, you know, facing adversity and healing herself. And I truly believe, as well as some others here tonight, the more we can heal ourselves, the better we're able to heal the environment. And I have just a couple more things to say. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go, girl.
I'm going. I want to say something about Martin Luther King. He said the three evils of the United States, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. One is materialism. I write poetry about that. If I have a voice, I'll read you part of a poem. And materialism for me means I want it. And I want to extract it. I want to take it. I want to use it. Too bad for you, Sarah. I want it. You know, that's materialism, isn't it?
That is materialism.
And greed.
And greed and
Ugliness.
and greed and materialism.
So that's one evil. The second evil that Dr. King talked about was materialism. And I think, militarism. And that goes hand in hand with materialism. I don't know whether people know, but the military-industrial complex is the largest polluter in the world. And to get our material goods, we can use the military to extract those goods for us. Fossil fuels. And the third evil, he said, was racism. So I just think those are really, really interesting three concepts about what we could make better.
And that they go together.
Yes.
So I'm Cherokee, Irish, and French Canadian. Yay, mixed blood. Yeah, I fit in anywhere. Anyway, so I'm going to do a few poems for you. I write a poem a day. I don't write a finished poem a day, so you got to understand it's a rough draft. And if it's worthy, then I revise it a lot over and over. So here's some. In the Cherokee tradition, water is called ama, okay? So this is called carry me. In spring, mountain snows flow to the river, swell its curves, strain their banks. As I hike, the river calls my name, a subtle pull, a yearning plea as soft as a lover's whisper. Carry me, I pray, like something precious. Heal this fragile mess I have become. Earthquakes rumble through my veins. Memories collide in dreams, shatter every night. Ama, water, sing a healing song. Carry me home. Carry me like something precious. Okay, thank you. So this is called Cedar Songs Left Behind. She stayed behind, the mother of my grandfathers, not by choice, his or hers, but theirs. Singled out she was by soldiers, spared, they told her, by yellow hair, blue eyes, spoiled though she was, still no kind of fate for a white woman, this trail, this removal. In the guile of their final night, in the lull of the dark, they slept, the mother of my grandfathers, and her man, her red earth man, his skin in rich opposition to her pale. They lay entwined until he woke. Stirred by the cadence of boot heel crunch on gravel, the thick man scent rising in the air, whiskey, smoke, sweat, wool, he woke. My grandfather's father crossed to the rough-hewn mantle for his flute, the smooth cedar flute, which under my living fingers delivers still the song, the haunting cedar songs, gifts left behind by the tree people in the branch he carved so long ago. The mother of my grandfathers taught her son, then her grandson, the songs he played that night. In time, grandfather taught me, his granddaughter, child of pale hair and red earth skin, told her too the story. Played me awake that night, she said, with my fingers one on his. Played into them the cedar songs, one by one, until the soldiers came. As they broke down the door, as they dragged him away, I faltered once, she said, but did not stop. I released the cedar songs instead of tears. As they pushed my man from the dawn, from my arms, I played for him the songs, for the son born after, for the grandson of my old age. Now as grandmother, I tell her words. I, the girl blessed with grandmother's name and hair, grandfather's red earth skin, I play the sweet cedar songs, the haunting holy gifts of the trees he left behind. Okay. I have two more, and this is another one that I wrote for my dad, my Cherokee dad. 3 years before he passed away, he went blind from macular degeneration. So he wanted to go back home to Tennessee, but he couldn't. So this is my tribute. Pale eyes empty. The morning my father went blind, I found it hard to breathe. The effort of taking air in and letting it out weighed me down the morning he went blind. The morning my father went blind, the echo of his words, I want to go to the mountains and die, swelled inside my chest, grew into a cloud that filled my lungs the morning he went blind. The morning my father went blind, I wanted to take him by the hand, the way he had taken mine as a child, and lead him to his Tennessee mountains, to his beloved place, the morning he went blind. We'd walk along the trail, and I'd tell him the Cherokee story of the Valley of the Butterflies. Some say butterflies will come, thousands of dancing butterflies, to beguile you with their colors and lead you to your dream. But the trick, Daddy, the trick is not to look. He smiled then, pale eyes empty, but face bright, knowing there was still something he could outsmart the morning my father went blind.
I sit on my porch chair questioning, what does it mean to be free? Can I let my mind go blank? Can I, the next time someone asks, what do I do, say nothing but being, to kill this ego? I sit here staring at the trees in front of me, wondering, can these trees teach me about life? Are they waving at me on purpose, hoping to get my attention? Are these trees staring at me, hoping I will see them, because they want to tell me all the answers that I have been searching for, that I too can be still, that I too can stand tall right where I am at, that I don't have to go anywhere to grow, that right here where I am at, I can witness all the mysteries that are this life, that right here I can get exactly what I need. Is this why the trees stand still, waving at me? Thank you.
It's very short. I wrote it the last minute, which I shouldn't have. Roses are red, violets are blue, but they won't be much longer if this is what we do to the environment. I couldn't get it to rhyme either way.
I would like to begin with a statement. Encouraging expanded environmental awareness by mainly our political leaders and public in general. We each need to begin with our own selves and re-examine our acquired belief systems in order to successfully actualize our potential to attain continuous harmony with our natural environment and world peace. It will not be until we accept that we are an integral part of nature and the earth will we feel harmony and peace within our own selves. Nature provides everything to everybody without discrimination. Let's be thankful. Let's work with the natural order of things rather than against it. Let's relinquish the need to control and the need for power and profit. For the more control we impose, the weaker we will become. The more profit we desire, the more impoverished we will be. I'm going to ask you to hold your applause till the end, and I thank you. Power deludes us, spiraling into a melodic symphony of distorted vibrations. The earth shakes. Control builds up resistance. With each breath, the earth gasps. Greed infects the human mind and body. The disease spreads across the globe. Poverty sets in. The earth dries up. Material success intoxicates the senses, separates us from each other, from the earth, leaving us alone, disconnected, uprooted, desperate, slowly dying the death we have created. The next verse I'd like to introduce by haiku by J.W. Hackett. Man's contribution to this quiet mountain pond is an old beer can. Breathe. Highways, asphalt, cities of stone. Breathe. Cars, engine, furnaces, heaters, ovens, burning gasoline, fossil fuels, carbon monoxide. Breathe. Power plants, reddish-brown gas, nitrogen dioxide. Breathe. Factories, burning coal and oil, sulfur dioxide. Breathe. Drink. Industrial waste, pesticide runoffs, leaky tanks, corroded pipes, defective wells, chemical waste. Drink. Fluoride, chlorine, lead, mercury, arsenic, perchlorate. Drink. Neurotoxins, endocrine disruptors, carcinogens, herbicides, insecticides. Drink. Hear and see and smell. Noise, light, air, water, soil, pollution from the outside, created by man, seeping into the body, through the skin, into the organs, into the bones and bone marrow. Do you feel it? Feel the poisonous, dogmatic beliefs of the mind, the toxic desires of the senses created by men, the stifling drought from lack of clarity, pollution on the inside, leaking out. Can you feel it? Breathe. The earth cannot. And I just have a couple more, if you stay with me. My hands are the hands of a gardener, fresh with soil, sunlight, and rain, with the breath of flowers and kisses of moisture. I sprinkle seeds over the earth like a holy man sprinkles sacred water. The soil grateful for my blessing, the birds grateful for the small fare. I chant incantations and listen for the growth of roots, for the rustling of sprouts, pastel green and tender, spiritual and uplifting. I rain dance and praise the sky, hold my hands to the air, forming a small bowl for the rain to fill, to be the stimulus, the birth mother, the liquid that makes the garden whole. I ask the sun for waves of light, the breeze for strength and circulation, the fertilizer for sparkling minerals that infuse the roots, stems, and fruit with vitality. On my knees I dig, with bare hands into the soil. My hands, like intimate dancers, lead the busy, prolific weeds to another existence, to their rebirth. My hands are the hands of a gardener, fresh with soil, sunlight, and rain. Signed Da, D-A-H. And I return to my own writings, last verse or poem. And I want to thank you, Pamela, for including me in this event. We are the seeds born out of this earth. Our sweat and tears nourish the soil we build on. We labor to survive and to love, birthing the fruits that sustain us. We are free to fish in ponds, lakes, and rivers, but not for recreation. We are free to hunt in forests and throughout the land, but not for sport and trophies. We are thankful for the sun and the shade trees provide. On our knees we pray for the rain that feeds the streams that quench our thirst. We open our chest wide to breathe and spread our arms like the wings of white doves flying upward to the blue sky, declaring our freedom among the bullets of war, the monopoly of profiteering corporations, and the control power-driven dictatorships. And at the end of daylight, as night falls, we search for safety, and we return home to the womb of the earth we were born out of. Thank you.
There's a film on fracking, hydraulic fracturing, and the corporate executives of the fracking industry said, "This water is safe, drink it." And so the guy walks over to his faucet, besides lighting on fire, but pours some water into a cup and said, "You drink it." And he wouldn't drink it. Thought about that when Nadia was reading.
Well, the world is running scared. The threat, it is real. The people making bombs. I wonder how they feel. 'cause we're on a tiny planet, floating all alone. In 15 billion light years, it is our only home. No one ever says thank you. No one ever says thank you. No one ever says thank you. So we take this little planet. She is mother's milk indeed, and with irresponsibility, we've stricken her with greed. We make poison she can't swallow, divide her up for money, spill blood on her for power, then ask for milk and honey. No one ever says thank you. No one ever says thank you. No one ever says thank you. Oh, the bombs of Hiroshima will echo on forever, and the sirens of Chernobyl will stop their wailing never, and the doors to 3 Mile Island forever shall be closed. We must make a restitution for what has been imposed. We must learn to say thank you. We must learn to say thank you. We must learn to say thank you. Well, we can't believe the leaders. We can't believe the lies. We can't believe the people.
And I thought, what better place than here, and what better time than now to talk about Earth Day, right? Earth Day, the environmental issues. And what I have to read to you is this message of hope from Donald Trump himself, titled, well, I guess not very cleverly titled, Presidential Message on Earth Day 2018. This is the official press release from Donald Trump. Now, before I go into this, right, Earth Day, it starts in what, April 22nd, 1970. It's meant to sort of commemorate our planet, which we all live on. You know, we don't want to be, ruined, right? Because we keep all our stuff here, and it's kind of the precursor to all of the the great legislative acts like the Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, the Endangered Species Act. You know, everything comes in this period between 1970 and 1978. It's a great bunch of years. By the way, I was born in 1978. So I thought that was going to land a lot better than it did. So let me read off. Thank you. Right. I think, like Nadia, I'll have you hold your applause and maybe laughs until the end. So let me read this presidential message from Earth Day. Right. We can kind of go along with his understanding. It says here in my notes, do this in your best Trump voice, but I've got former students and children here. I do not want to traumatize too many people. So let me read this. Today, our nation commemorates Earth Day, a celebration of the blessings given to us by our Creator. Among them, we cherish the magnificent land and waterways, abundant natural resources, and unique wildlife. As a nation, it is our duty to recognize the importance of these life-sustaining gifts. It is our responsibility to protect them for our own benefit and that of generations to come. Well, that sounds fantastic, right? There's a little bit more. He says, we know it is impossible for humans to flourish without clean air, land, and water. We also know that a strong market-driven economy is essential to protecting these resources. For this reason, my administration is dedicated to removing unnecessary and harmful regulations. You kind of see where this is going, right? So he ends this diatribe, which I'm sure he wrote himself, right? He ends this by saying, Americans embrace the idea of enjoying nature in a responsible fashion. while preserving the blessings of our land for future generations. My administration is committed to furthering this rich legacy of conservation. This Earth Day, I hope all Americans will give thanks for the environment we share, protect, and call home, right? And so what does he do in the same month that he puts out the presidential message on Earth Day /2018? Well, three major things. One, he pulls out of the Paris Climate Accord, right? This would cap our effective carbon emissions. Two, he approves offshore drilling, which couldn't possibly go wrong. He opened up resource exploration for our public lands, places like a number of places that I'm forgetting right now. Yeah, there you go. And others like it that somebody else might mention that I forget. And then finally, he rolls back a series of fuel standard regulations that were put in place during the Obama era that would have capped small car fuel standards at 54 miles a gallon by 2025, right? And I said that I wasn't going to talk about these awful ghouls like Scott Pruitt, but he's sort of instrumental in this. And I thought at this point I'd figure out something clever to say to kind of just end. But I didn't. And I think the problem is, if we continue this way, we are just kind of going to end, right? I mean, the whole planet. This is not a good trajectory. And it's sad to me. Anyway, that's it. Vote green.
There's little time, so we flipped a coin to see who would talk, and apparently I lost, so I'm here. Yes, as you can tell, I'm from Alabama, right? My name is Gerard Ungerman, and I'm from Alabama, France. And Stacy, where my partner and accomplice is from, actually she's from Reading, even though she was born in San Francisco and grew up in Reading, and now we live in Chico. And so what we'd like to do is share briefly our American dream. Because, I was not born here. I chose to be here. I like to say that I'm an American by choice. And it's because I have this American dream that we share even though we come from a different place. We do video. I started my career as a journalist. I did writing and photography. Stacy has done some different things. She's done radio, public radio. She's a great photographer. All these photographs that we're running here are hers for the most part. And we have been involved since 2012 in this project called Respectful Revolution. And what is this project? It basically came a little bit from rejecting mainstream television. Years ago, we unplugged our TV. We eventually gifted it, and we've not been watching TV anymore. I mean, we watch stuff on the internet, like I guess everybody else. But we had completely enough of feeling sick to our stomach, day after day watching the mainstream news. And I've been doing documentary film for about 20 years now. And I was in the military for some time. I had interest for military matters. I did a lot of films about war situations. And I grew tired of it. And also touring through the country for years, from 2000, 2004, 2005, I saw so much beauty everywhere, so many cool people doing amazing things that you never hear about, that it planted a seed in my mind that perhaps my time, at the time I was, me, and then I met Stacy later on, but I thought that maybe then our time would be better spent looking at beauty and documenting, celebrating people doing cool things. So now we have a very short time, so we're going to jump in showing you an example of a video. So this is our website, and I will tell you a bit more after that. We're going to show you a video which is local, very local. Somebody who wants to save trees, plant trees in Chico, but it's an endeavor that could be done anywhere. And it shows you an example of what we now do, and after that I will quickly come back and tell you a bit about what is this respective revolution, where we've been. Well, Stacy just will show you a map, and how many videos we've done and what we hope to accomplish. You can tell it's all about solutions. It's all about what you can do to make the world a more livable place, what you can do to help others, what you can do because you care deeply about something and you think you can make a difference. We want to show that anybody can do something. It doesn't take a superhero. It just takes a bit of passion, and everybody has this in them. So these videos are available on our website. You can see them all for free, respectfulrevolution.org.
I want to kill for sport. I love to kill for sport. I want to kill for sport. It makes me smile. Just look at the photo. Holding the bloody wolf. I'm in camouflage, smiling ear to ear, my gun beside me. 181 wolves killed in 2 weeks. I love to kill for sport. I want to kill for sport. I kill big bear. I kill small coyotes. I kill the wildest wolves. I kill the rhino and the elephant. I love to kill. I love to kill for sport. A big boy and his father out for a wild pig hunt. They see the biggest pig they'd ever seen. They shoot him, of course, but he didn't die. They chase him hour after hour after hour. His life force keeps him slowly moving. Big boy and father finally find the pig. They kill him on the spot. Huge smiles, photos, guns, big boy and father standing over the gigantic pig. I love to kill for sport. I teach my kid to kill for sport. I want their oil, their energy. Send drones, drop bombs. I love to kill for country and for sport. I want my smartphone, my computer, my toys. I kill for stuff. I want to kill. I love to kill. I'm killing oceans. I'm killing air. I'm killing earth. And all that's left is me and my smartphone.
Fritz looked one last time at the beautiful bay, and above the bay to the magnificent mountaintops. He'd hiked and he'd fished and he'd loved his Alaskan wildness for over 50 years now. And there in the valley below him nestled a fine little town where lived his good friends. And he thought of Mary, his Native American wife of over 40 years, who died 2 years ago, and how he automatically looked to their special place. It was called Eden Cove, and that's where they'd met and eventually fallen in love and married. He closed his eyes, and a much younger Fritz stepped onto that quiet little beach. That Fritz lay back in the sand and looked up to the evergreen trees towering all around him. He listened to the wind in the trees, and he smelled the sweet air as he dug his fingers into the sand. He raised up in shock as his hands came up with delectable butter clams that seemed to boil to the surface as he continued to dig. He heard a sound, and when he looked up, he saw the laughing brown face of a young woman with a basket of blueberries on her arm and a smile that stayed on her face after her laughter stopped. That smile captured Fritz's heart and held it for the 4 decades that followed. Fritz opened his eyes to shake off the memory, and when he looked across the bay to Eden Cove, he saw oil skimmer boats that he knew would be working his and Mary's Eden Cove over. A deadly rage took over when he thought again of the oil spill, and it forced him to look away. He looked instead to the quiet little town, and he thought of those staying by to clean up this mess. And he remembered back to that meeting that changed everything for him. You see, the oil company had put the meeting together to let the local people have their say. The spill was 3 weeks old, and the oil had destroyed the fishing, the clamming, and so much more. The oil company representatives just listened. And the first person to speak was Lars Lugar. He jumped to his feet and he said, "I'm a fisherman, and when the pipeline was built, the oil companies and environmental people said that a catastrophe like this could never happen. We were lied to, and lies are still being told about this oil spill. The oil industry and your political buddies are just a bunch of snakes." The oil people just seemed to get shorter in their chairs as Lars sat back down. Finally, after many townspeople had expressed their anger and frustrations, it got quiet. And it was in this quiet moment that Fritz slowly got up to speak, where he showed all of his 80 years of age. He politely nodded to the oilmen and to the outsiders too, and then he turned to his friends and his neighbors. "You all know me. I've lived here over 50 years, and I saw many of you come to town. And as you know, I sold the newspaper after my Mary passed away. I figured I'd retire and live out my last years enjoying this scenery. It's lonely without Mary. But her memory was everywhere I looked, so it was okay. That was true of that little beach known as Eden Cove, because that's where I met Mary and courted her. Well, our anniversary was last week, and I took a skiff over there to reminisce. When I first came onto that beach, it looked the same. And then I reached into the sand, and I came up with nothing but stinky black hands. And everywhere I dug was the same. And what happened scared me. I got a rage inside of me that made me blind. It pounded my chest and squeezed water out of my eyes, because I finally realized that no part of my Mary remained there anymore. And every time I look at Eden Cove, it happens again. That's why I'm leaving." I'm an old man. I just can't take it anymore. Everyone grew silent. No one wanted to hand this old man any more grief. It was then that Pastor Frank stood up and quietly cleared his throat. Addressing himself to everyone, he bowed his head to pray, and others in the hall did so reflexively. He said, "Dear God, you created a near-perfect world, one of wonder, bounty, and beauty. Dear Creator, we've tarnished your treasures. We've killed your creatures." He paused as his voice choked, and at that moment, there were no more oilmen, no more experts, no more fishermen. Instead, there were only some small, worried human beings, felt with all of their hearts the words that finished the pastor's prayer. "Oh, dear God, we're so sorry." "Oh, once it has gone, it can never return. Though deep in your heart there is always the yearn. But it haunts you wherever you go. You've lost it, you've lost it, you've lost it, you know. For the air once was pure and the sky once was blue. The water was clear, that's no longer true. But you're haunted with what we have done. We've destroyed what is good for money and guns. For killing's big business, it makes men rich and leaves bodies and life there in a ditch. Yes, you're haunted wherever you go. For greed and gold has destroyed our souls. Thank you.
Gotta say, I realized true consciousness and enlightenment when I started screaming from mountains and just started listening to the blissfulness of the woods. And sorry. I gotta say, I hold the utmost respect for environmental education nowadays because it's so vital. Our technology has been growing so fast and so big nowadays that I'm kind of worried for our youth, because for me, myself, I even find me falling victim to just using technology as a crutch, using it for when I'm bored, being on social media for no reason, and that's just not a life to live. that's, I don't know what that is, but it's not what I want or what I see for our future of our kids and the future of everybody, because our kids are are everything.
My second poem is called Dying Bones. I have dreams, sneak peeks, flashes of the woman I will become, images of my 70-year-old self emerging from a forest, savage gray hair that shoots from my head as lightning, engraved evidence of many smiles, worn hands. I speak many languages, languages of roots, paints, and motions, covered in dirt, unconfined, free of my coop, no care for the time. The forest that I have surfaced from is one that I have built. The home I have built the land that feeds me. I am familiar with the birds and they are me. The stare of my gaze is an invitation to bond for the eternities. I am young now, still in my beginning. I do fear death, not because it is an end, but an end to this, what I cannot keep. But these gifts of seeing me at 70 present me with a calm, a utopia. I call to my dying bones willingly, dive into time, the one who ends me, for what I will become is glory. Thank you.
About is the pursuit of activism and how to be effective in trying to change the world for the better. The basic truth is that we cannot create anything until we become it. We cannot create lasting peace until we become peace, until we are at peace with ourselves. Perhaps you remember that Mahatma Gandhi said something about this, about becoming the change we want to see. The famous psychologist Carl Jung once said that if enough of us do what he called the inner work, we'll make it. If we avoid it, we're doomed. He was talking about recognizing what he called the shadow, those aspects of our consciousness, beliefs and behaviors that we do not recognize or will not look at in ourselves. I'm an activist of consciousness. My work is guided by a fundamental belief that the need is very great at this time for conscious people to become more conscious. All of you are here because you're conscious people. This means doing the inner work that Jung was talking about. Now, I know a good many activists, some who talk about saving the world, who are proud of how many times they've been arrested, as though that demonstrates the effectiveness of their actions. And some of them are busy starting fires everywhere and preaching to everyone about what they need to do when their own lives are a mess. But how can you save the world when you can't even save yourself? There's a scientific principle called the observer effect. Perhaps you've heard of it. The principle basically acknowledges the fact that what we perceive determines our reality. We are participating in the creation of our reality by projecting our expectations and beliefs, what we carry within us. This is true of our personal reality, but it's also true of our collective reality. And I would go so far as to suggest that perception is everything. So we need to take charge of it. We all have different perceptions about what is important and where we should place our energies. But too many of us are focused on trying to get other people to change. And the result is a focus too little on what we need to change. As a therapist and personal coach, I have seen many people who are trying to get others to change. But what they don't realize is that our own power lies in changing ourselves. In truth, it is the only power we have. Over and over, I've seen it with my clients and students who have come to realize that they need to stop trying to change anyone and anything else. All we really need to do is uplift ourselves. That's where the magic is. And when you do that, things change around you. People are often amazed by how much their family changes when they work on themselves. It is also true for our effect on the wider world as well. And that does not mean we don't need to take action in the world. Don't misunderstand me. We absolutely do. But the first thing we have to do is change ourselves, our perceptions, our attitudes. I am driven by a conviction that the most powerful form of activism is healing your past and expanding your own awareness, your own. For by doing so, the world around you also transforms dramatically. Doing so not only uplifts you, but everyone around you as well. Now, I've heard many people say that focusing on transforming yourself when so much needs to be changed in the world is selfish. But I would suggest that where you are coming from is an integral part of your effectiveness in stimulating change in the environment. Uplifting ourselves is not a selfish act, it's the act of love. And to the extent that your personal story is written from the wounds you carry, or lack of self-love, your capacity to serve others and give love is likewise impaired. And your perception is clouded by your own issues. The fact is, if we do not engage in this inner work of personal upliftment, we cannot really help anyone else either. It is impossible to fill anyone's cup with an empty pitcher. If you want to change the world, you must begin with yourself. If you want to be effective in making change in the world, making a difference, raise your emotional vibration. If you act from a level of fear and rage or the need to be seen as a hero, you will never be effective. You can't change anyone else. The work of activism begins within yourself. You must do your own inner work, face your own shadow, and bring light to the darkness within yourself in order to bring light to the world. The most important work we each have to do is to integrate our shadow, as Jung suggested. If we do not, we tend to project our shadow parts on others. If you cannot integrate it, you will be largely impotent to change anything, no matter how much you crusade or how many times you get arrested. If you are angry or fearful or harbor unhealed wounds, if anger or fear is what motivates you, you must heal that. If you do not heal it, you will just be projecting what you carry within you, which is what we all do. If you don't heal your anger and fear and personal issues, all you can do is project them. You have to heal yourself first in order to be truly effective. Now, it is also worth noting that our projections are often our best feedback for learning about our blind spots, for empowering ourselves, and also for helping others. But to make use of them, we must learn to own them back. The old adage is often true when we're pointing our finger out at others and other things. We have three pointing back at us. So I would like to suggest something will help us all. Raise your own emotional frequency. Now, how do we do that? I have three suggestions. One, as I've already said, do your own inner work. Do that first. Die to the past. Learn to forgive. Let go of fear. Number two, learn to focus your attention. Most people's attention is willy-nilly everywhere. Where you place your attention is one of the keys to personal power. Another key, number three, is learning to manage your emotions. If your parents didn't know how to manage their emotions, neither will you. So you have to learn how. Emotion is the rocket fuel for your thoughts. It is your power. I'm not talking about repressing or controlling your emotions. I'm talking about focusing your attention. Focus your attention on higher emotional frequencies. Practicing kindness, gratitude, appreciation, compassion, joy, forgiveness, optimism in spite of appearances. When you feel anger, take a good look at yourself and figure out where it comes from. probably inside. Most anger comes not from situations that vex us, it comes from within. And owning back your projections, when you find yourself judging others, take a good look in the mirror. Now here's a little meditation for you if you want. Something to try, simple thing. It's a little mantra. One of my teachers gave this to me a few years ago, and it's been really good for me. I taught it to a lot of my students. This will help you bring peace to your world and to make you more effective and helpful in transforming the world around you. Focus on your heart. And repeat this mantra. I am love. Love is all that I am. And this is one of the best ways for the conscious people to become more conscious. Thank you.
And the last one has nothing to do with my Cherokee heritage. It has to do with Bob Dylan. How many of you like Bob? Whoop, whoop. Okay. So there was a Dylan retrospective on TV a few years, many years back now. Oh, I see it, 2014. Okay. So I watched it, and what I wrote was this Dylan retrospective using a lot of his own lyrics. All right, here we go. What happened to the wild poets, the crazy word makers, red, white, black, brown? Hell, get drunk enough and everyone's Irish. 30 pints of Guinness reveal the truth. Where are the crazy poets? We were the wanderers, the word listeners, the rat-tat-tat-tat beat, filling our brains, guitars trilling to Smoky Mountain blessings, thoughts blurred as snowfields. We passed the bread basket, played jug band music, hoped to eat, sometimes didn't. So we wrote, we hoped, we lived to write, we sucked up coffee and often just sucked. Used hunger as the fuel to wind up unforgettable. Immorality is one letter shy of immortality. A few cigarettes and beers from the gutter. Stolen lyrics, forgotten lines, who cared, who remembers? We got our words out, we got our worlds out. Now, who will catch the torch? Who cares where the hungry poets spend the night? Who knows how to feed one? Do we? Does anyone? When are you going to howl, America? Or are you star-spangled to death? A no child left behind single file parade to acres of beige houses with white trim. When will you howl, America? Where are your crazy poets? Thank you.
Solar system, that's why I love the earth. I heard rivers. Oh, I love the earth because the earth has rivers. The only rivers in the solar system. The only rivers in the solar system. That's why I love the earth. Come on, it's gonna. Redwoods. Did I hear redwoods?